Good afternoon, Joel. Thanks for taking the time to visit with me. Would like to chat a little with you about lessons and why they're important and so on. But
Yeah.
I guess the first question is, why are lessons important to a golfer?
I think lessons are learning what to do. It's learning, having the knowledge about why things happen and how are we supposed to fix them. What are we supposed to be doing, or creating that intention in the swing of not just hit and pray, but this is what I'm trying to do. I'm either going to accomplish it or not. And now I also know when things don't go the way I want them and why that's happening.
So improvement of the game is part of it. Really looking at the different elements of the swing
Yeah,
are helpful to the student itself.
absolutely. And I just think improving the game is going to improve your experience on the course as well. Right?
Okay. Question
Yeah.
again. With a new player to the game of golf, how do you address the different elements of the game?
Sure. I think like anything, it's going to start with the fundamentals. We need to start with setup and being in the right position before we hit that ball. And then after setup, it'd probably come down to contact, making good solid contact, and then we'll start worrying about direction and height and those sort of things, distance. But it all kind of starts with having a good solid foundation, good setup, good intention in the swing of what are we trying to do.
Here is an example of Joel giving lessons at the driving range. Let's listen.
This is kind of like talking kind of posture. So okay, let's get set up into it here.
Taking the same situation, now we have a person that's been playing golf for quite a bit. How do you attack or address the needs of that person?
Yeah, I think at any level, lessons are important because there's always room for improvement. You may be hitting the ball good, and then a lesson could become building different skills, building a different skill set. Sure, you hit a great straight shot, but can you hit it high? Can you hit it low? Those are skills we also need to have as golfers. So if it's not always fixing something that maybe not be broken, there's room that we could build or improve on just our skills in general.
So in that particular situation, you're going to take a certain element of the game, evaluate it, and try to improve on that if improvement is needed.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, most players that have been playing know where their weaknesses lie, and those tend to be where we focus the lessons on. And again, if you have strengths, let's improve those too.
As you look at the different clubs and the different elements of the game itself, is there a difference in how you approach, let's say, the woods, the irons, putting, or even working out of the bunker?
It comes down to, again, those foundations of good setup. Each shot is tending to require a slightly different setup.
Okay.
Um, that could be from what kind of contact are we trying to create? Is it a ball that's up on a tee where we have contact of hitting up on it? Are we hitting down on it like with an iron? Do we want to sweep the ball like if we're hitting a fairway wood? Those different types of contact come from different things that we do in the setup, different intentions again in the swing. When I go out and do playing lessons, I talk a lot about golf is a game of contact. You have to create the contact that you're looking for that club in your hand, right? Iron, hit down, hit a divot, make a divot in front. Up on a tee, don't want to hit down on it with my driver. A lot of people do. They still swing down instead of swinging up. You're on a different lie. It's about contact when you're out there playing.
Here is an example of Joel giving on-course instructions.
Right at it, right? It's pretty open on both sides. You want to make sure to get it there.
Okay.
So I like to hit to my number here rather than kind of looking at that flag.
Okay.
Since it's so up close, I want to make sure I get it on. What's our number for the front edge? About 60. Let's get it at least 65.
Interesting. When I'm using a driver, then my approach setup is important.
Correct.
How does one person stop the rushing of the swing? I know we talk about it. We want a proper pace, good tempo, and so on. But many golfers, although they may think they're doing it, usually whip that club way back fast, and then all sorts of timing goes off. So,
Sure.
how do you work with a person that has that disease?
That's a funny way to put it, because you're saying rush the swing or get faster. Is getting fast in the swing a bad thing? I think the pros are swinging it even faster. Rushed. I think what you're mentioning is things getting out of order.
Okay.
Pieces of the golf swing moving at the wrong time. If your arms move ahead of your hips, yes, you have rushed your arms down in the golf swing ahead of your hips. So yes, you're out racing those hips or rushing there, but it's not about speed. It's about order or sequence to the golf swing.
Interesting point, because many novice golfers like myself will look at it and say, "Oh, that takeaway was too fast."
Absolutely.
But I think what you're saying is I'm getting the sequence of my whole body movement out of sync, and then I try to recover.
Your backswing is too fast compared to how fast your hips are moving.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
That would be a way of explaining it. If you get things into the right order, as many of the pros do, then that allows you to, your whole order or sequence can be a faster sequence of things happening. The club moves faster in the end. So it's about order.
Okay. How does a player make the lessons pay off for them?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to practice. You have to take the things that we're working on and spend time on the range building that skill. You want to feel confident that you can do it on the range before you go out to the course and try it. Again, the more you practice, the better you're going to get at it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen on the golf course, but it means that you have that skill. You can recall that practice session that you had and what you did as far as setup or intention in the swing to make those shots happen in practice. We use that recall as we get out to the course.
Okay.
So if you don't have the practice time, you have no reference on the course of what you should be doing, what it feels like, or even having the confidence to do so.
In your opinion, what's the right amount of practice?
I think it changes for everybody and what level you're at and what your expectations are. If you expect to shoot low scores, you should be pretty invested, and you should be practicing, several times a week.
Okay.
I think golf is funny in that it is the only sport where we practice on a different field than we play. Think of anything else. Baseball, you're on a baseball field. Football, you're on a football field. Basketball, you're on a court. Here we practice on a driving range, and then we go play on the course. So practice doesn't necessarily just mean the driving range. Practice could be going on the course.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But having the mindset out there on the course that I'm working on something, or I'm not going to be upset because I haven't yet mastered this skill, and using that as practice as well.
So in the game itself, or going out to the course and practicing, don't focus on trying to be the best and beat your opponent, but go out there and practice.
Focus on
If it takes hitting a second ball to say, what did I do wrong, to figure it out,
Yep.
and do that.
Build those skills out there.
Okay.
Be able to take what you have done on the driving range to the golf course. It doesn't happen automatically.
Okay.
I mean, if you look at the pros, they play a practice round before all the tournaments they play in.
Okay.
When they're practicing, I've been to professional tournaments and watched them practice. They walk around and they throw a ball down from here. What's this going to do from here? They are using that time to develop the skills that they want to use in come tournament time.
Okay. So in summary, I do appreciate all the tips that you've given us in terms of what's important with lessons and why we take them in the different elements. What would you suggest? What would you try to tell the golf community at Round Hill to take that next step and take some time and take some lessons?
Yeah. I mean, if you're hesitant to come take lessons, please come do a half an hour evaluation. We'll take a look at the swing. We'll see what's going on and be able to develop a plan that suits you and your game from there. Just take that leap of admitting that you need a little bit of help, and that's there's nothing wrong with that. Golf is a lot of just the knowledge of what to do, like we said in the beginning, what should we be doing, or that knowledge that we may not have of why did that happen.
Hmm.
If we don't know why things are happening, it's hard to correct them.
Yeah.
So even just that little bit of knowledge really starts to apply itself out there. So please come take a lesson, come find out what you need to be doing.
Well, thanks, Joel. And folks, I think there's some very good points here. What Joel is basically saying is that we all need some form of lessons to improve that game. And if you want to enjoy it more, lessons will take you to a better game, and you'll be happier in the long run. So take advantage of that half-hour evaluation. I think it's a good way to start, and you could stop there or continue on. And avoid all those embarrassing swings. Thanks again.